Hi, we're going to talk about number 4 again, just a little bit, because I forgot to turn on.
Author breakable, spoiler alert.
Yeah, there you go. What was Benedict Spinoza's objection to miracles, and why was he dead wrong? So what we talked about. Go ahead. Let's just do it all. Take 2. There may be a take 3. Who knows? Go ahead.
He assumes that natural laws are immutable, when in reality they can be very easily broken, or at least postponed.
Yeah, so this number 2 in his logical argument, and for those of you watching at home, here's the logical argument. Number 1, miracles are violations of natural laws. 2, natural laws are immutable. It is impossible to violate immutable laws. Therefore, miracles are impossible. So the problem here is that natural laws are not immutable. Natural laws, as we said, are a prescription or a description of what normally happens in nature. But even human beings can override natural laws, like gravity, take an airplane ride, or a ball in the air. Immutable means they can't be changed in any degree, and that's just not true. Now, Benedict Spinoza lived in the 1600s. He never saw an airplane, so he might not have understood that. But he presupposes. He doesn't prove it. Yes.
Yeah, the problem is that they're actually very immutable. You know, I'll be doing so tonight when I drop 20 points on Noise Town. Alright, I'll be breaking the natural laws and backwards.
But don't break the backboards.
Oh yeah, right.
Because we have a game after yours. And Brecken was really hoping to do that herself. So the part that number 2 is what invalidates the logical argument. And if anything is not true in there, then the whole thing falls. So it is not a true and valid argument. And so it says here, he was wrong because God's laws are not immutable. Creation itself is an example. He created something out of nothing. And those laws came into existence. So if God, well, Jesus was the word. If God created the universe out of nothing, then that means that we can overcome those laws. But he can change them any way he wants. The box is open, right? The box is open, and he can do whatever he wants because he's God. And then as I think I already said this, but as Aiden mentioned, that natural laws just describe what generally happens. Okay, all good things. Any questions about those? Anyone needing further explanation? You're all copacetic with this? Okay. So this is by far, as you probably already figured out, the easier of the 2 arguments. You're going to need to know about each of them, but I believe that your quiz is going to ask you to write out one of them. You have your study guide, so you know what that question is already. So what was David Hume's objection to miracles, and why was he wrong? So now turn to the next page, 205. And this is Hume's argument. And it's longer and more complex, as I said. Number 1, natural law is by definition a description of a regular occurrence. 2, a miracle is by definition a rare occurrence. 3, the evidence for the regular is always greater than that for the rare. 4. A wise man always bases his belief on the greater evidence. 5. Therefore, a wise man should never, or woman, I suppose, should never believe in miracles. So, let's start with number 1. Natural law is by definition a description of a regular occurrence. True? True. 2. A miracle is by definition a rare occurrence. True. The evidence for the regular is always greater than that for the rare.
False.
That's false. That's false. The book talked about that. So, name for me a counter example to that shows it false.
A very specific group, a very specific person would be considered a rare event with immutable evidence because you exist. There's nothing to really change that.
Yeah, and we watched that video with Louie Giglio, right? And
Yeah.
and the miracle essentially of those two cells finding one another. Yeah. Rare
And
occurrence.
also just
But
the
we
person,
all exist, right?
the person itself.
Yeah.
Or like there won't be another like there won't be another arts and he's him. That's the rarest occurrence because it's one out of billions.
Right.
So that specifically is a rare occurrence, but that has more evidence than everything else because you're there. Just like David Hume, he doesn't deny his existence.
Right.
So
Right, you're living proof that that's not true.
When just because something is the rare occurrence and it does happen less if it's verified, then in that case the evidence for that is greater than the more often occurring experience because it's witnessed, so
You'd be a fool
you
not
can't
to
deny it.
say that didn't happen. Because it's rare. Yes.
When a rare, unexplainable thing happens, so let's say a UFO or the Loch Ness Monster or something, people try their hardest to news cover it, give evidence for it. So a UFO, you will see news coverage on it everywhere. You'll the evidence for it in different origins is more refutable because more people know about it. Does that make sense? So when a
It
rare
does.
happens, they talk about it more, they try to dive into it to investigate more on it. There's more.
Yes, but I would use a different example than UFO or the Loch Ness Monster,
Yeah, because
neither
that's
of
more
which
like-
have been proven. A hole in one, you can go back and watch that clip, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that somebody hit a hole in one. Yes. Right.
The good thing about this argument is that even with the conclusion that no one should believe in miracles, the argument has to acknowledge the fact that there are miracles and there are rare occurrences and that for it to get to that conclusion, number 2 is really a miracle is by definition a rare occurrence. So
Right.
they're saying they happen, but because they don't have an alternative belief that they happen,
Right. To say that it's rare is to say that it happens.
I mean,
It hasn't happened at all. It isn't saying it doesn't happen at all. And you're right. That's another.
so
That's another. Flaw in the argument. Yes.
Okay, real quick. For example, there was in China there was a random bluish white block of ice that fell from the sky in the middle of nowhere, in a field, and there was coverage on it everywhere. So it was absolutely refuted, immutable that literally this is a block that just fell out of nowhere from the sky. And it was a village where no planes normally passed over, nothing. And so they actually later found out that from a plane, normally in a plane, the machinery, when you pee and poop, it mixes together with chemicals and it freezes in a block, and it accidentally plopped out of the sky. These people were eating this ice because they thought it had healing powers. So yeah. That was covered. That was covered on our show. First of the UFO.
It's not even chemicals mixing to make it freeze. Using some roadrunners hacks.
Okay, we're gonna go to you. If this is good, this is getting extra credit right here.
On the roadrunner chapter, you see that he says that rare occurrences don't happen, so that's why it's not labeling them. If you're saying that's an occurrence, that means it occurs. If you're using literally the word occurrence, that means it occurs. It's not.
That's what bro we said, bro.
Oh,
Just
okay.
for
Nice.
the-
I don't remember that happening.
Well done. Yes.
So what I find quite humorous is there's debatably more evidence for people losing the lottery than winning. But if Hume suddenly won the lottery, I don't think he'd be. I don't believe in this. This is a rare occurrence, people. This is not real.
Yeah.
And also, it says a wise man should never believe in miracles. It never says they don't happen. It's
Right.
just that wise people should ignore them.
Exactly. Yes.
I think Alex said this, but it's more like there's the quantity and the strength of evidence is what's different when you're comparing rare and common occurrences. Because, like, yes, there could be more cases and therefore more evidence, but if it's just a bunch of weak evidence, then it doesn't really amount to anything. Like the very I don't even know if that's the word, verifiability of the argument. Has more doesn't mean it's like it depends on how strong the evidence is. So
Right. The rarity of something isn't what constitutes whether it's real or not. The evidence that's available. Yeah. So I mean, there are obviously there are multiple problems. It isn't just that that number 3 is false. Number 4 is false as well, right? That on the and the greater evidence could be for the rare thing, as we kind of alluded to. I'm going to see what so. So let's talk a little bit then about what C.S. Lewis said. If you'll look, this is probably page. Here we go. I'm at the very bottom of page 207. Very bottom of 207. And this is what C.S. Lewis said. Now, he's talking specifically about Hume's argument. Now, of course, we must agree with Hume that if there is absolutely uniform experience against miracles, in other words, they have never happened, why then they have never happened. Unfortunately, we know the experience against them to be uniform only if we know all the reports of them are false. We cannot know, right? And we can know all of the reports to be false only if we know already that miracles have never occurred. In fact, we are arguing in a circle. To argue in a circle is a logical fallacy that doesn't support a claim with logic. In other words, you're using your claim to prove that the reason for the claim is true. And you can't do logically. That's a no-no. So I wrote this little thing down last night because I wanted to do a better job of doing this. So he says a wise person should never believe in miracles. Does that person know, whoever that person is, or all of those wise people, do they know of all that all miracle claims are false? No, because nobody knows that they are all false. And so then the only way to know that all of those claims are false is to know that they never happened, which is Hume's claim in the first place. So logically, his argument is false. And he's arguing in a circle because he says you shouldn't believe in miracles, but you can't know about all the miracles. And the only way to know about all the miracles is to know that they never happened, and we can't do that. And now we're back where we started. So yeah, it's a circular argument, which is a logical fallacy. I don't know if he did that, but people get pretty desperate to refute anything that has to do with God. Okay. I just want to make sure I've got it. I don't know if we said this part. Or maybe we said it, but not with these words. Believability is different than possibility. Whether something is believable or not is different than something possible. It can be possible, and that doesn't mean that all possibilities are believable, but some are. And then probability is separate from evidence. We don't say something is true based on the probability, do we? Now we can say this is more likely to happen than this, right? But we can't say that probability decides what's true. Evidence decides what's true. And if there is good evidence for a miracle, then it's not only possible, but it's true. Okay, so this is where you're headed for the rest of today, and whatever you don't finish is homework. You're going to read the rest of the chapter, which is pages 210 to 217. And then you're going to complete the rest of the equip. I think it's just a couple more. So complete. If you haven't completed all of the ones before this, then make sure you do that. Complete all equip questions. You work together on this if you would like, and then we'll discuss tomorrow. You should tomorrow have a little bit of time to study for the quiz. And remember, your verse quiz is tomorrow, and then I've changed that to Friday.